Hello students, in this video I am going to tell you about the different classes of fungi, and these are phycomycetes, ascomycetes, basidiomycetes and deuteromycetes. Phycomycetes is also known as zygomycetes. So what are the different features of phycomycetes? These are known as terrestrial fungi because it commonly grows on organic decaying matter. It branched, the thallus is branched and filamentous, and also the hyphae are aseptate and cynocetic. I think now you know about what is the meaning of aseptate and cynocetic. It was explained in earlier video. And asexual reproduction takes place by non-motile spores, that is planospores, and the motile spores, that is called zoospores. And in sexual reproduction it is isogamous or anisogamous type. Isogamous means the gametangia has similar morphology, and in this anisogamous they have different morphology. So sexual reproduction takes place by uh, conjugation, or you can say gametangial copulation, and two identical gametangia fuse. When two identical gametangia fuse, it is called isogamous, and when different type of gametangia fuse, it is called anisogamous. Examples are mucor rhizopus, which is also known as uh, albugo. Then other example are pylobolus, etc. And the next group is ascomycetes. So this is the most diverse group of higher fungi, and it is represented by more than 1700 genera and 15,000 species. They are also saprophytic, decomposers, or parasitic, and some are also coprophilous. Coprophilous, you know that they grow on dung. So thallus is, they are also commonly called as sac fungi. They form sacs, and most of them are multicellular, but one is unicellular, and that is yeast, which is known as baker's yeast, and this is unicellular. Scientific name is Saccharomyces. So this is the only which is unicellular. Cell wall is made up of chitin or fungus cellulose. Asexual reproduction takes place by various types of non-motile spores, and these are known as chlamydospores, which is non-motile. And also conidia by conidia formation or oidia formation. And in unicellular form, as I told, in yeast there is fission and fragmentation and budding. Fission, that is binary fission, which is the key feature of unicellular organism. Fragmentation, and also the budding. You have studied in class 10th budding in yeast. So these are the most common method of vegetative propagation. And asexual reproduction by antheridia and ascogonia. So in multicellular forms, what happened? Multicellular forms, fusion occurs between somatic cells which directly behave as a sex cells or gametangia, and this process is known as gametangial copulation. Gametangial copulation, when directly gametangia fuse to one another. The species are either homothallic or heterothallic. Homo or heterothallic. And fertilization involves plasmogamy. As you know, plasmogamy fusion of protoplasm, karyogamy fusion of male and female nuclei, and there is a long interval between plasmogamy and karyogamy, and I told you that this phase is known as dikaryon phase. So I think you all understand that after plasmogamy, the male and female nuclei generally arrange themselves in a pair which is known as ascogonium, and such pairs are known as dikaryon, as I explained you here. And ascogonium with dikaryon undergoes septation and form multicellular hyphae. These are known as ascogenous hyphae, and the two nuclei, that is dikaryon, fuse to form a diploid nucleus, and this diploid nucleus is known as ascus. And the diploid nucleus of ascus undergoes one meiotic division, producing four haploid asci or ascus, or this is also known as ascospores. So this is all about the dikaryotic phase which I explained you earlier, so no need to explain more here. And then examples are that one, Saccharomyces, yeast, Aspergillus, Penicillium, where conidia formation occur. This is also known as blue or green mold, Claviceps. This is also known as ergot fungi, and Paziza, which is a caprophilous fungus, grows on dung. And then some are also used for eating purpose, and this is Morchella, which is also commonly known as gucci. And the next one is Basidiomycetes. This is also known as club fungi. Club means it looks like a gada of Hanumanji. Club fungi. It is a group of most advanced group and represented 550 genera and 25,000 species. Mycelium is well developed, branched and septate. So you have to remember branched and septate mycelium. And then the cell wall is chitin, made up of chitin. These fungi grow in soil or in logs of trees, stumps, saprophytic. They are popularly known as mushrooms or gill fungi. Gill. You can see in rainy season on the logs so many mushrooms are grown there. There is a variety of group of fungi like rust. These are Puccinia, which causes wheat rust disease. Then smuts. This is astilago. So these rust and smuts are the symptoms of the disease. uh, in wheat mainly, they form rust. The wheat grain become rusty, and this astilago, uh, this causes smut. And most of the member are parasitic, and it damages the crop. So in the life cycle of these fungi, two types of mycelia are formed, and first one is known as primary mycelium, which develops from the basidiospores and has a single haploid nucleus in each cells. Point to be remembered: single haploid nucleus in each cell. And the second one is secondary mycelium, which is formed by the fusion of two cells of the primary mycelium, and this mycelium has a dikaryon. Two fusion of, again you see here, formed by the fusion of two cells of the primary mycelium. It means N plus N condition. Two cells of the primary mycelium. Asexual spores are generally not found in basidiomycetes, and they simply uh, multiply by the vegetative propagation by fragmentation. And there are no any special organ for sexual reproduction. It occurs by compatibility of the nuclei, and then here also dikaryon phase occur, and there are so many examples which damages the crop, as I told you, and in your book it is given some other points, so I have to explain here. uh, Here, as in dikaryon phase, it give ultimately give rise to basidium. As in ascomycetes we see that they form ascus mother cell. Here it give rise to basidium. Karyogamy and meiosis takes place in the basidium, and what they produce, these basidium produces four basidiospores. So this must go for meiosis, and the basidiospores are exogenously produced on the basidium. This is very important. It produced exogenously, means outside the body, not in the, not inside. And the basidia are formed or arranged in a fruiting bodies structure, and which is called as basidiocarp. Where it get arranged, it is called as basidiocarps. And some common examples, as I told, agaricus, astilago, and puccinia. And the next one is the phycomycetes, ascomycetes, basidiomycetes, and the last one is the deuteromycetes. So it is commonly called as imperfect fungi. Why imperfect? Because only the asexual and vegetative phases occur. uh, Sexual forms of this fungi are not discovered yet. That's why it is called as this deuteromycetes, or you can say imperfect fungi. And so Asexual and vegetative stage have been given one name and placed under deuteromycetes, and the sexual stage another, placed under another class. So it is about the discovery. You can see here in your book it is given that later, when the linkages were established, the fungi were correctly identified and moved out of deuteromycetes. So, once we got sexual stage, it was not belong by this group. So, once perfect sexual stage of members of deuteromycetes were discovered, they were often moved to ascomycetes and basidiomycetes. So, you got this point. Once uh, if they discover that that organism go for sexual mode of reproduction, it has to move there in basidiomycetes or ascomycetes. So the deuteromycetes reproduce only by asexual spores, and it is known as conidia formation. Mycelium is septate and branched, and some members are saprophytes or parasites, while a large number of them are decomposers of litter and help in mineral cycling. So most of them are saprophytes also, and examples are Alternaria, Colatotrichum and Trichoderma. These are the, you can say, Alternaria solani is a group which causes blights in potato, blight disease in potato, and Colatotrichum, these form the disease red rot of sugarcane. So trichoderma is economically important. So this is all about the different classes of fungi.